Hi, my name is Hannah Jose, and I will be presenting on Salmonella enterica. To begin, I've had personal experience with Salmonella. Over the summer in August, I traveled with this lovely group of people to Morocco. Here's me riding a camel in the Sahara Desert. We all ate this chicken. About halfway through our meal, someone exclaimed that their chicken was undercooked. I checked my chicken, everyone else checked their chicken, and they were also concerned that their chicken was slightly undercooked. And lo and behold, about a day and a half later, we all became extremely sick, nausea, vomiting, you name it. We all knew we had food poisoning. Every single person, including my professors, contracted salmonella. So this presentation is very near and dear to me. Salmonella enterica is a gram-negative bacteria, which means that it's resistant to many drugs and is increasingly resistant to most available antibiotics. This is because gram-negative bacteria have an outer membrane that protects them from their environment. These bacteria can also use this membrane to selectively keep antibiotic drugs from entering. It's also rod-shaped or bacillus, and it's usually motile with flagella, as you can see right here. They are non-spore forming, which makes them more susceptible to heat. They are also facultative intracellular pathogen and a facultative anaerobe. This means that they make ATP by aerobic respiration if oxygen is present, but they can also switch to fermentation if oxygen is absent. Where is Salmonella found? So Salmonella is spread from the fecal to oral route. So they're found in fecal matter, and if ingested, you will contract Salmonella. It can be found on food contaminated with feces like beef, poultry, eggs, and milk. This beef, when it's slaughtered, it can be contaminated with the feces of the intestine, like in the intestinal area. And so if you don't wash your meat, cook your meat thoroughly, salmonella will not be killed or washed off. It can also be contracted with direct contact with an infected animal. So salmonella can cause a gastroenteritis disease, which can affect you from 12 hours up to 3 days. It mainly causes nausea, vomiting, cramping, and diarrhea, but in more severe cases, it can cause dehydration, headaches, fevers, and chills. Salmonella can also cause typhoid or enteric fever. This can affect you up for 14 days. This is a systemic infection, which means that it enters your bloodstream. And once it enters your bloodstream, it's more severe. It requires antibiotics, and it will definitely cause fever, nausea, vomiting, cramping, and diarrhea in like a more severe case. So, in order to diagnose salmonella, you can't diagnose it on symptoms alone, although it can be very telling if you know you ate raw chicken and then you're sick a day later. You can diagnose this through a bacterial culture. So you isolate the organisms from a feces or blood sample. Um, Up in this right-hand corner, you can see a plate of salmonella, and you can tell from like plating it on different materials, whether it's like non-lactose membraning or hydrogen sulfide producing. Actually, in my microbiology lab, we did an H2S test in a SIM or sulfur indole motility media, and we were able to tell if the organism was hydrogen sulfide producing. You can also do a biochemical test or an antigen-based test. This is right here. You can also do a PCR test as seen in this bottom corner. And then you have to do a bone marrow testing for typhoid fever to actually confirm that. So most patients recover in 2 to 7 days without antibiotics, but in more severe cases, antibiotics such as ampicillin, amoxicillin, gentamicin, and fluoroquinolones may be used. Then, in the case of typhoid fever, which is more severe, surgery may be needed. On my trip to Morocco, I was given ciprofloxacin. This is a type of fluoroquinolone, and according to a PubMed article by D.C. Hopper and J.S. Wolfson, in the article titled Mechanisms of Action of and Resistance to Ciprofloxacin, there has been mutations in ciprofloxacin which has caused a resistance in salmonella. And so ciprofloxacin has proven to not been able to treat many cases. It did treat my case. I may have recovered naturally, but regardless, I did recover in 2, 3 days. So I'm glad I took the ciprofloxacin. But in this PubMed article, it does say that there has been now a newfound resistance. Yeah, so that's my presentation. I hope you learned something and thank you for a wonderful semester.